Welcome back, I'm Tedward, welcome to sunny Michigan, and welcome to an episode of Same But Different, because you all know that I own an FL5 Civic Type R, but this is not mine. In fact, this is the Topher's, one of my closest friends in the world and fellow POV YouTuber. He also owns a championship white Honda Civic Type R, and this is his. Unlike me, he has taken some liberties in modifications of a Civic Type R to make it a little faster and grippier on track. Now, I also have just purchased a set of wheels and tires, and I have RE71 RSs as well from Bridgestone, and we've just popped these on Chris's car, but he's got a lot more modifications than simply grip adders because he loves to go to the track with this car. It's not his daily driver, and he was encountering some issues, common things that we see with Civics, and a lot of folks are having issues with their brakes. So one of the first things he did was he got these pad shims from Paragon. And the other side of this situation is that a lot of people are boiling their brake fluid because they're not fully turning off their traction controls. So this is just a real upfront PSA that if you just hit the traction off on these cars, it's not actually off. It's still going to be engaging those rear brakes with any slip angle really to keep you in line. So you've got to do a pedal dance where you use the brake pedal and flap the little parking brake to fully disengage the setup. That should help you a lot. And then if you're still encountering braking issues, you're probably going to want to put in these pad shims that help separate the pad from the caliper just enough to dissipate some heat. But aside from that, he's also got a COBB tuner, and he just had a custom tune done by a fella named Brian at JST Performance. This is now making about 350 wheel horsepower. It is genuinely quick, and you are going to notice it. There's some other things too, because he's put in a PRL motor mount in the rear, and this actually makes a huge difference in just the way the car feels. Let's see if I can remember how to open the hood of my own car. We'll take a peek under the hood, see if there's anything that looks different. There's also a PRL air filter setup that's a little different, but under the hood, yeah, you'd never notice that this was a much faster Honda Civic Type R than stock. Looks the same K20 C1 style, and there's really nothing up here that looks particularly different. So, another issue that people were having with their Civic Type Rs is they believe them to be too stiff. And this is true, especially in Plus R mode when you're on a racetrack, even a nice smooth racetrack. It's very bouncy. It's going to skip over any imperfections. So Chris went out and got the Integra Type S suspension module, and it basically dials everything down a notch, and it makes it just a little more compliant and easy to drive. So now this drives a bit smoother and hooks up on lesser pavement. The other thing he's done is in individual mode, his tune will pin open that third exhaust valve, so it always is a little bit louder, but he also put in a mid-pipe. So this car does sound a little bit different than stock. But one of the joys of these cars is just how damn practical they are, because despite the fact that this now makes a ton more power, it has a lot more grip, and it sounds a little beefier, it also holds on my luggage and seats 4. So I'm out here with Topher Brower right now. He's filming a Winding Road magazine video over on that new ND3 Miata. We did a great sunset drive in that the other day. I am going to follow him in Chris's Honda Civic Type R, and we're going to see if I need to do some modifications. Inside, he's also changed to the Alcantara steering wheel, which I really like, but I will destroy because I drive my car a lot in Alcantara. Man, it just doesn't last very long. Now, Chris usually runs a braid wheel with a Continental DWS, but I thought, you know what, we should have the grippy boys for today. So we're on the HPD wheels. It's still a 19-inch wheel, and they're wrapped in my favorite performance rubber. This is a 200 treadwear tire. It's a Bridgestone RE71 RS. I am so excited to get these on my car because now that I've taken a few corners and begun scrubbing these in just a touch, not really, we've got to get some real heat in these things, but it's ludicrous how fast this car is. And Chris also owns a Camaro SS1LE that we drove, and now this is like as fast, if not faster. It's so bananas what a front-wheel drive Honda Civic Type R can do, and it's so bananas that you can have both cars completely different. We have a pushrod 6.2 liter V8 rear-wheel drive monster in the Camaro, and then you get a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo front-wheel drive, and somehow these would run together just perfectly on a racetrack. Let's get it started up. I want you to hear how different this is. You get a little more of that sort of old school Honda rattly sound on the startup. You hear the turbo a lot more in this car as well. I don't know if that's because of the air filter, because of the tune, or even because of the mid-pipe's helping that a little bit. There's also a maintenance reminder. Have no fear. It just means that he's been doing some track days and the car could use an oil change. It's not due. It's just giving us an early warning. That's fine. I do love the sound of sticky rubber picking up all the little junk in the road. Tells you you're about to have a good time. Now we're not on the race pads. He does have race pads for this car, but it's not what we're running right now. So lucky with this weather out here. These tires add such a crazy level of performance to the car that it makes a really big difference. Now, I wasn't originally going to put my RE71 RSs for anything other than track driving, but driving these on the street, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just run these all the time and just destroy them constantly. That's fine. Added power and torque that this tune is allowing us to put down, these tires are hooking up great. I think on a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, these may not grip quite the same. We're already encountering some wheel spin in this car when the tires are cold, so I'm going to let this guy run a little bit because I want to show you what this does in a corner. And that's what's crazy, is like this car is now so fast that I have to let people run a mile ahead of me just to have any fun. The G meter was saying, but that edge to edge is 1.5 G. It looked like we were pretty close to the edge on that, so that's pretty wild. This just on the street on cold RE71 RSs is doing this. great day. Chasing your friends in little sports cars, little 4-cylinder sports cars. It's the best thing in the world. These tires are a little, these are cheater tires. Like, he's on a 205 section usable summer tire. I'm on like racing tires. So there's no way, even despite his lower weight in that MX-5, he's not getting away from me. He's not getting away from me. And he's got to work for all of this power. It's amazing how hooked up this thing is. Now, he always likes to do his 0 to 60s here. We're going to back off a little bit just in case he spins up these tires, but let's have a listen. All right, we're not going to be quite as aggressive because I don't want to shatter an axle because these are very sticky rubber, but let's just get into it a little bit. This car is so fast now. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You gotta pedal it in first though, because you'll just get wheel spin. The diff does a pretty good job of figuring out what needs to happen to put power down, because you can start feeding power in the corner after the apex and it's not just going to push you straight off the road like in an ugly understeering situation. It's fighting for its life. These concrete on-ramps, man, they are slick. It is tough to put the grip down in some of these little corners here. You can hear these highways, man. These Michigan highways are not subtle. But on good grippy pavement, holy cow, no problems. I will say this is the best digital dashboard in the game right now as far as I'm concerned. It gives you all of the information you need, nothing you don't, and it's very clear, legible, and at a glance it's really easy to just know what's going on with the car. I just think that some automakers have completely lost the plot on their digital dashboards. And yes, the tune makes a ton of power, but it also kind of just boosts up the mid-range, makes it a little more drivable around town. I don't think it's like necessary to have this amount of power in this car, but it's not a bad thing. I feel like I'm gonna pull out of the throttle earlier in this car now, though. You see how it's spiking the revs? That's me. I just need to adapt to it. And I don't notice this happening much in my own car, so I'm thinking maybe it's just the way it's boosting. I just need to be a little more proactive with getting out of the throttle before I go for those upshifts. So that's gonna do it for the Topher's tuned Civic Type R. So the question is like, what needs to be done to this car? I think the immediate needs are going to be in terms of brake cooling, because that's obviously first and foremost a thing you're going to want to do if you're going to be on the racetrack. So I want to get these Paragon pad spacers. I think that's going to help a little bit. And then in terms of everything else, I think the Integra Type S damper module is just wonderful. I wish this was like just the way these came. Civic Type R's are just a bit stiff. I don't think we need them to be as stiff as they are. And this does a great job of just kind of like making it feel complete. Actually, I'm going to leave this off because in case we've got some heat in these brakes. I do love the Alcantara wheel. I'd probably destroy it in a very short order. I'm glad that I already have the wheels and tires. Do I need the power? For YouTube, it seems fun. I am fine with the power of the Honda Civic Type R because now with these tires, you've got the grip to carry stupid speed. So unless I was actually just trying to race Chris, I don't think I would necessarily need it, but I do need to just give credit to the tuner because this tune is fantastic. It doesn't feel like a tuner car, it just feels more. And the character of this tune is fantastic. The other thing that I might do is I really like this PRL rear motor mount because it just connects the car to the powertrain a little better. It feels a little more, I don't know, everything just feels a little more raw. And I like that feeling. I want this car to be raw. But this week I've been able to drive such a variety of cars and enjoy them between the Camaro SS1LE, that MX-5, this Honda Civic Type R. And it just goes to show that being a loyalist to a very specific type of car doesn't really pay off. It's great to like something, but I would just always recommend going out and driving something a little bit different because maybe you only drive Corvettes, Camaros, Mustangs, whatever. I'm going to tell you, when you hustle one of these front-wheel drive Hondas around a corner at like a G1/2, you're gonna figure out real quick that this is a good time. So anyway, thank you to the Topher for tossing me the key to his Honda Civic Type R with very tasteful mods. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I gotta go get a little fuel before I bring this back and head back to Boston. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.